So, as per the rules of parliamentary procedure, I ask that all debaters address me as Madam Speaker throughout. You may heckle, request interjections, and raise points of order or personal privilege respectfully. I will be keeping order, time, and fairness throughout this session along with my honorable members of the House. Yes. So that was the
Okay,
opening.
go ahead. Are you all
Okay,
putting up an
so
agenda?
1 second. Is everyone seeing it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. So, so I could begin introducing the top, well, team one, right?
Yes, yes, yes. You go.
Okay, so topic one, leaders are born, not made. We have the government team, Alpha by nature. We have infant influencer, genetics giant, boom born winner, boss born, not built, and the inborn commander. So these persons are team one, members of team one. Okay, and next we have the opposition team, which is leaders by choice. These members are head honcho, the final word, the closer, brainy, and data wizard. So I just have a question because I could go ahead and like let them know to start, right?
Yeah, you're in charge. You go ahead.
Okay. So we're just dealing with team one and then we'll move on to two after. So we will now proceed with the first main point in favor of the motion presented by infant influenza. So you have 5 minutes for your first main speech. The floor is yours.
Good evening, distinguished Madam Speaker, respected opponents, and esteemed audience member. We stand firmly in support of the proposition that leaders are born, not made. Individuals who possess innate magnetism and natural tendency to guide and inspire. From charismatic historical figures to intuitive decision makers, we see evidence of inherent leadership qualities.
Sorry
Look
to
at
interrupt, so we just have a bit of background noise somewhere. I'm not too sure. So I'm not hearing her too clearly.
I think still have to mute.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
Okay,
I can start over?
no problem.
Okay,
Yes, you can.
thank you. Good evening, distinguished Madam Speaker, respected opponents, and esteemed audience member. We stand firmly in support of the proposition that leaders are born, not made. Consider individuals who possess innate magnetism and natural tendencies to guide and inspire. From charismatic historical figures to intuitive decision makers, we see evidence of inherent leadership qualities. Look at history's visionaries who shape our world. Were their abilities merely learned skills, or was something fundamental setting them apart? The affirmative team believes leadership is innate rather than learned. While experience can enhance abilities, core attributes of genuine leadership, motivation, charisma, and intuitive understanding are primarily innate. We interpret born as a possession of essential natural traits that incline individuals towards effective leadership, including natural charisma and strategic thinking. In contrast, made refers to leadership that is developed solely through acquired skills, training, and environmental influences. Therefore, the affirmative side asserts that while experience and development can certainly enhance and shape a leader, the fundamental elements, the spark, the inherent capacity, are largely inborn. This debate will feature compelling arguments that demonstrate, point one, leadership qualities are influenced by genetics. Research indicates that up to 30% of leadership skills are genetic, with personality traits like emotional stability and openness being strongly heritable. Point two, inherent charm and power. Charisma, a unique skill inherited from great leaders like Princess Diana and Barack Obama, is essential in leadership, enabling leaders to inspire, influence, and establish connections, making it a unique skill that cannot be learned from a textbook. Point three, taking charge in tough circumstances. Leaders like Winston Churchill possess natural calmness, quick-wittedness, and confidence, which are crucial in crisis, emergency, and conflict, as their unflappable assurance is essential for leadership success. Point four, managers, not leaders, can be trained. Leadership and management are distinct concepts, with management focusing on rules and timetables, and leadership motivating individuals through emotional resonance and vision. Great leaders require particular talents and abilities, not innate motivation or personality. We believe that at the end of this discussion, you will understand the important truth. Although nurturing can help develop potential, leaders with an innate unteachable basis are the most influential and transformative. This evening, we will show you why we continue to believe that the seeds of leadership are sown at birth. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. We now pause, guys, for an intermission of 2 minutes. Okay, we will now hear from the first main speech against the motion from head honcho of the opposition. You now have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to wish a very good evening to the chairpersons, fellow members of the government, members of the opposition, and members of the House. We are gathered here today to debate that leaders are born, not made, and we, the opposition, stand in firm opposition to the motion. I, the leader of the opposition, have the main task at hand, which is to state the motion. Next, I will highlight some of the key words and define the motion of today's debate. Following this, I will present the first point of the opposition in order to support our stand. The role of the second speaker here is to rebut the points given by the Prime Minister, and he will go on to present an additional new point that will further support the opposition stand. Finally, the third speaker of the opposition has the task to rebut all points given and put forward by the government. Now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to point out some key words and provide a definition. A leader can be defined as someone who leads or commands a group, organization, or country. The phrase made refers to being invented. We, the opposition, disagree. Leaders are not born, they are made. Leadership is not some mystical trait you're simply born with. Rather, it's a skill set that can be learned, practiced, and perfected. Allow me to move on to the opposition first point of the day. Behavioral leadership theory, also commonly referred to as trait theory, is centered around the belief that leadership is a learned behavior and that by studying the traits of both effective and ineffective leaders, just about anybody can be trained to lead. Researchers at the Ohio State University began conducting research as part of the Ohio State Leadership Studies in the 1950s. The findings of the study revealed that leaders who were supportive of their employees and communicated well were the most impactful. Furthermore, according to Exude, another reason leaders are made is that many leaders are developed through consistent practice and dedicated coaching. When practicing good leadership, many think back to their first job or experience managing a team. Great leaders will learn through every experience they have, no matter how insignificant it may seem. Their previous jobs and leadership opportunities afford them the knowledge they need to succeed elsewhere. The best leaders are self aware of their current skills and the process needed to improve them. Driven leaders understand their limits and work hard to push past those boundaries and embrace challenging leadership positions. All those points are to prove one thing: no one can be born into leadership, a good leader is made. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. We now pause for an intermission of 2 minutes. Okay, so we will now hear the first rebuttal for the motion. We will hear this from the final word. You have the floor now. Are you guys hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Would you like me to repeat?
Yes, please.
Okay, so we will now hear the first rebuttal for the motion from the final word. So the floor is yours. You can now speak.
Good evening, Madam Speaker, Chairperson, and audience. Who wants to support my argument as to why I believe leaders are born, not made? Let's break it down. Leadership can be taught. Our opponents may agree that anyone can be taught to be a leader through mentorship, experience, or training programs. But let's be honest, if that were true, every manager or team leader would be outstanding. Yet we know that many trained individuals lack the ability to truly inspire or lead effectively. That's because while you can teach skills, you cannot teach personality traits like charisma, confidence, or the ability to earn instant respect. These are inborn qualities. My second point, environment shapes leaders. While we agree that the environment plays a role, it can only do so much. Place two individuals in the exact same conditions, same school, same job, same training, and you will still find that only one of them rises to the top. Why? Because they were born with it. My third point, history is full of self made leaders. We often hear about self made leaders, but we ask, were they really made or were their leadership traits simply revealed over time? People like Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, or Nelson Mandela may have developed over the years, but they all displayed strong leadership early in their lifelong before any formal leadership position or training. To sum up, yes, leadership can be neutered, but only when the seed is already there. You cannot create a leader out of thin air. You can guide, support,
No, in
and
fact,
polish,
whatever.
but the core qualities must already exist. This is why we maintain that leaderships are born, not made. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. We will now pause for an intermission of 2 minutes. Okay, so we will now hear the first rebuttal against the motion from genetics giant. Genetics giant, the floor is now yours.
Sorry, I think you mix up the names. I think Genetic Giant was the last one that went up.
Oh, sorry, I sent the wrong draft. Her name was changed to Leadership Blueprint.
Yes, and I
Repeat
already
the name,
spoke.
please.
Shania is Leadership Blueprint.
Or leadership
I forget,
blueprint.
yes. I sent the wrong draft, sorry.
Okay. Were there any other changes that were made that we need to know about, or is it just for leadership blueprint?
No, that's the only name that was incorrect. Also, I think tell I can't remember who I sent it to, but the last message, tell her don't worry about that. I'll message her.
Okay, guys, so just to confirm, right? The team, which is Alpha by nature, you all are four. For that, the last person to speak just now was leadership blueprint, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so now we would hear from the second rebuttal, the closer.
Our first rebuttal for our team didn't went as yet. That was the final word.
Right, yes, sorry. So the first rebuttal, the final word. You can have the floor now.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker and fellow debaters. The opposing team claims that leaders are born, not made. They argue that leadership is rooted in innate traits such as charisma, confidence, or natural intelligence. While it is true that some individuals may be born with characteristics that can support leadership, it is incorrect and limiting to suggest that these traits alone define a leader. Leadership is not about what you are born with, it is about what you do it and what you have. So, to talk about their first point, innate personality traits, although some individuals may appear naturally charismatic or confident, distinctiveness and empathy at a young age may not be easily taught or replicated. Research shows that key leadership traits like empathy, communication, and influence are increasingly recognized as skills that can be learned and developed over time. across health disciplines, including academic medicine, nursing, and hospital administration. These human-centered skills are emphasized and consistently aligned with framework which views leadership through a skill-based lens rather than innate traits. Furthermore, the study highlights growth, importance of conceptual skills at high leadership levels, which professional includes health sciences, liberations, are encouraged to actively participate and improve, demonstrating the effective leadership is not simply a matter of natural ability but of deliberate growth and learning. And their second point was genetic inherited influence. While genetic inheritance may play a major role, leadership is overwhelmingly shaped by environment, experience, and mindset. According to Center for Creative Leadership, firstly, beliefs about leadership greatly impact whether individuals are even given the chance to grow. If we assume leaders are born, we may overlook those with potential who simply need development. Second, research shows that experience, especially challenging assignments and relationships, are far more influential than traits in shaping effective leaders. Finally, many exceptional leaders emerge from non-leadership backgrounds, proving that leadership is a skill that can be learned and cultivated, not just inherited. Let's examine what leadership really involves. Well, a true leader must communicate effectively, make tough decisions under pressure, demonstrate emotional intelligence, and earn the trust and respect of others. These are not traits that appear at birth. They are developed from over time through learning experience and reflection. If leadership was purely genetic,
The final word, are you finished? Just want to confirm to make sure everyone is hearing me.
you hear me?
Yes, we're
Yeah,
hearing
I'm
you.
hearing you now.
Okay. If I don't know what went on with my mic. If
If you're
leadership
not
if leadership was purely genetic, then every child born with charisma or confidence would grow up to be successful leaders. We know that is not the case. Now let's look at some real world examples. Take Nelson Mandela, a globally respected leader. He was born into leadership. He grew up in South Africa, faced unimaginable oppressions, and spent 27 years in prison. His leadership was not the result of innate ability, but of depth, conviction, education, and years of growth, sacrifice, and resilience. Consider Mala Yousafzai. She did not begin her life as a leader. She became one through lived experience, surviving an attack, speaking out for education, accounting to grow into her role with every speech, every campaign, and every step she took towards empowering others. Her courage was strengthened through adversity and support not simply inherited at birth. Even in professional environments, companies spend billions of dollars on leadership development programs. Universities offer degrees in leadership. Governments and nonprofit organizations invest in training future leaders. Why would they do this if leadership could not be developed? It is important to understand that believing leaders are born sends a dangerous message. It implies that unless you are born with certain traits, you can never lead. It discourages growth and closes doors to those who could lead with the right guidance and effort. Meanwhile, believing leaders are made promotes inclusively. It sees
A
anyone
final word.
exists.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm not sure if you was looking at the chat. Your time is up.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
no problem. So now we would have an intermission of 2 minutes. Okay, so we will now hear the second rebuttal for the motion from Woomborn winner. The floor is yours. You can proceed.
Okay, so thank you once again, Madam Speaker. As we approach the conclusion of this debate, let's take a firm stand in rebutting the points made by the opposition. Their arguments, while well articulated, fall short in proving that leadership can be made rather than born. We maintain that leadership at its core is driven by inborn qualities, not just learned behavior. So let's tackle this point by point. Some may believe that leaders can be made through experience. While experience may enhance a person's competence, competence alone does not equal leadership. We see this in the workplace all the time, even in school institutions. Someone might be excellent at their job, trained extensively, and promoted into leadership roles, but still struggle to inspire their team, make bold decisions, or even earn respect. That is because they don't possess the innate emotional intelligence, confidence, or even charisma required to lead effectively. Real leaders are the ones who shine even before any formal training. They are the ones that people naturally look to in uncertain situations. They don't wait for experience to guide them, they lead with instincts. Some may also think that the environment shapes leaders. While this statement is partly true, the environment may reveal leadership qualities, but it doesn't create them. Let's take two individuals raised in the same home, for instance. They are sent to the same school, placed in the same job, and given the same training. Despite the identical environments, only one may emerge as a leader. Why? Because that one had the natural temperament, the confidence, and the drive to rise above. If the environment alone was enough, then leadership programs would create leaders every single time. But we all know that they don't. So, also, some believe that leadership is a skill that can be developed. Yes, skills can be developed, but only when the foundational traits already exist. You can teach public speaking, but you can't teach someone to be captivating. You can also teach decision making models, but not the confidence and clarity to decide under pressure. Just as we accept that not everyone can be a star athlete or a musical protege, we must accept that not everyone can be a great leader. Think about crisis situations. Leadership often emerges when it is least expected. Natural born leaders rise not because they were trained, but because they were wired to take charge. No one teaches you how to lead in fire. It's either you step forward or you don't. Also, history is full of self made leaders. Let's look at some of these so called self made leaders. People like Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, or even Steve Jobs. Yes, they have faced hardships and learned through life, but let's be honest, they have shown signs of leadership at an early age. Their charisma, vision, and fearlessness were not learned, they were revealed. Nelson Mandela led student protests as a youth. Oprah Winfrey hosted her own show at the age of 19, and Steve Jobs was creating a vision at a time when most were still figuring out their careers. So it's not the environment that made them leaders, it simply gave them a stage to show the leadership they were already born with. Also, it's backed by science. Let's not forget that science supports our case. A prominent study by RV et al. In 2006, published in the Leadership Quarterly, found that genetics account for 30% of the leadership ability. That significant chunk that training cannot replicate. And that leads us to the point that leadership is not just learned behavior, it is biological. That's all the points I have for you today, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. We will now pause for an intermission of 2 minutes. Okay, so we will now hear second rebuttal against the motion from the closer. Honorable member, you now have the floor. Please proceed.
Good evening, Madam Speaker and honorable members of the Parliament. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The points genetics, innate personality traits, and experience was brought up by the government. And to that, I say no. Those points do not necessarily make an individual a leader. While it can be true that some individuals may naturally possess leadership skills without having to work hard to develop the skill, it can also be said that traits like empathy and resilience can be taught and developed through training. The argument of genetics does not determine whether a person is a leader or not, as leadership is cultivated, not hardwired. Lastly, experience, which is the most crucial part, plays a very big part in leadership, as the skills needed for a leader are more often than not forged in real life situations. Therefore, claiming that leaders are born and not made severely undermines how important education, personal development, as well as mentorship is. Leadership is not something gifted to an individual at birth. It is a skill that, once nurtured and encouraged, can create a great many possibilities that not only benefit the leader, but those that they lead. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you, honorable member. Second. So, honorable members, we will now have an assessment by the judges